Jessica Biel, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome to Dublin.
Thank you so much.
And thoroughly enjoyed the film as well. It's an awful lot of fun. Your character is very much the heart of the movie, and you have to strike that balance between tender and tough, and that's something you've kind of had to do throughout your career. How difficult a balance is that to strike?
It's always very difficult. You're always sort of walking a tightrope of, how can you sort of, create this kind of aggressive, strong, intelligent woman, but who's also still a woman, who also is still very sensitive at times, vulnerable, and of course, this man in front of her who she has incredible feelings for, but who doesn't remember her. That's a nightmare. I'm sure it would be a nightmare for a man, but for a woman, that's a total nightmare.
Yeah. So is this one of the more difficult roles you think you've had to play, given the huge production and everything else? Was it difficult to find those sparks with Colin as well?
It's always difficult to find that really meaningful relationship between these characters in a movie of this scale, in between all of these incredible sequences and these amazing chases that we have and the fight choreography that we have. It's always a challenge to do that, but obviously we had an incredible time, and Colin was lovely to work with, and it was very much like a family kind of a vibe, so it was very good.
And it was a long shoot. I know you guys shot in Toronto predominantly, and it was a 6-month shoot or something. I'm not sure how long.
It was, I think, 5 months.
They're all blended into one.
Yes, it has.
But I know Colin, felt the aches and pains the last couple of weeks of production. Obviously very physically fit. Is that something that you felt as well? And did, going back and watching the movie, did those memories come back because the movie, it's non-stop?
It is pretty relentless.
Yeah.
When we start going, it's like a train. You have to jump on and just ride with us. Yes, every day was incredibly physically intense, of course emotionally intense, but banged up, bruised up, covered in scrapes every day. And yes, by the end of the film, I think all of us were so excited to just be able to be a regular person and not get hung from a wire 30 feet in the air or drop onto an elevator or roll and shoot a robot. It just gets to a point where your body can't take it anymore. So I definitely was feeling the effects.
The physicality is obviously something that you're very good at and something that you really, really enjoy. I know in Blade Trinity, you and Ryan Reynolds would work out together as part, just to get into that
Yes.
kind of incredible shape that you were both in that movie.
We did.
Did you guys see that as well as that as part of the family vibe before?
We did, absolutely. When Colin and I both arrived, we would work out in a big kind of gym area, doing, one of us would be kickboxing with the trainer here, the other one would be doing parkour, then I would join and do the parkour with them, and then he would go to the kickboxing, and then I would do here, and then Kate would come in, and then she and I would sort of do our choreography separately, then we would work together, and then they would work together. It was very cool to do that. Then you really feel like you're bonding with these people that you've just met, and you're both or all three of us are going through a very challenging physical experience, and you just feel on the same playing field, and you can just connect with the other people in that way.
And it's always easier to work out with somebody else to motivate
Oh
you
my
as
gosh,
well.
it's so much better to not be alone by yourself getting your ass kicked.
You've become kind of by default, I think, the Hollywood, that atypical, archetypical Hollywood athletic girl. Like the motivation for most of these women going to the gym to work out. And I know my ex-girlfriend had a picture of you somewhere as motivation to go and train. Is that a bit of added responsibility, because it's a very positive role model to be that healthy athletic type?
I feel very honored by that, honestly. I do love the aspect of my job where you can really make a difference in somebody's life in a really positive way, and I think it's really wonderful that women can feel like being fit and being healthy is confidence building, and for me it's very empowering. I mean, it's also very stress relieving, so it's very important, not simply just physically, but for me mentally. And if I can inspire someone to feel good about themselves in that way, and feel that that's finding a balance in your life, including sport or including physical activity, and be healthier in your life, I mean, I couldn't be more thrilled.
You're all for that. We've got something very different coming up next. We've a couple of very different movies coming up next. Now we've got Hitchcock, with
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins and Helen Mirren. That must have been some experience. I don't know if you share any scenes with Anthony.
I do.
Helen. What was that experience like?
It was incredible. It was one of those sort of, pinch yourself moments, constantly every day, looking around. Anthony over there, Helen Mirren over there, Toni Collette over there. Just like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? Holy shit. It was pretty amazing. Anthony is probably one of the most incredible screen partners I've ever had. He's so supportive and is constantly giving you ideas. And he says, "Oh, I hope you don't mind. Can I make a thought? May I make a suggestion?" I'm looking at him like, you can tell me exactly what to do, and I will literally lay down in front of a truck for you. So it was wonderful. It was a wonderful experience. I haven't seen the film, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
And another film I think that looks like a lot of fun, you've got a film coming out with Jared Butler.
Yes.
I think around Christmas time. And Jared Butler plays for Celtic in it, or his character played for Glasgow Celtic in it, which we'll be very happy about here in Ireland. How was that experience? That looks like it kind of balances the comedy and drama quite well.
It is. It's a really sweet movie. It's Gerard plays a character who's coming back to sort of reconnect with his family. I play his ex-wife, and we have a son together. And his career is sort of slowed down a bit, and he's in a transitional phase in his life, and he's kind of trying to get back into his son's life, and ends up being the soccer coach for his son's little soccer team, and of course kind of wrecking havoc in this small community and making me crazy. And then of course there's that natural connection that you always have with someone that you've had a very serious experience with, like having a child. So it's a really beautiful drama, comedy, sweet little film that I hope people will enjoy in December.
Okay, before I let you go, I have to ask, the Jimmy Kimmel virals are hilarious. Is there any chance you're doing another Jimmy Kimmel video? I saw you on Jimmy Kimmel there
Which
a couple
one?
months ago. The one you did, the workout one?
Oh, Kimmel, I'm thinking Fallon. Oh my God, please don't bring that up.
Yeah.
That is so horrifying. I feel like I blacked out when I did that, because when I watched it again, I was so disgusted by myself.
It was nice of him to show the clip again as well.
Out. He was such a dick. I was like, oh, Jimmy.
Brilliant.
But yes, of course, if you asked me to do it again, I would come back in a second.
Jessica Biel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank
it was lovely
you.
to meet you.